Hi there. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. Live shows, aren't they fun? Here we are. Everything seems to be working. We've got Stephen Heywood with us today and Jeff Blanchard, our co-host, good friend. Here he is. Jeff, you there?
Good morning. Afternoon. Yes. Can you hear me now?
We can. You need his volume up a tad.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get you up a little bit.
I'm whispering.
There you go. All right. Here we go. Let's run the intro. And we are back. And there's Stephen. Stephen, how are you?
Hey man, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's good to catch up with you again. It's been too long. It's been like at least a year and a half, if not two.
I was surprised that you guys actually knew how long, because I went back and looked at the email and I was like, wow, yeah, it has been a long time.
It's been a long time, and for a while we weren't doing so many shows, or we weren't doing guests for a while, and then we said, we got to get back into this, and so we started going back through lists, and we saw go, Stephen, we haven't talked to Stephen in ages, man. So Sarah gave you a call, and you said, sure, I'll be on. That's great. So you're always a pleasure to have on, and hey, you were telling us pre-show that you haven't been on that much because your kind of hobby turned into much more than a hobby, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's something that's happened. I've been doing online broadcasting. Everybody knows I've been doing online broadcasting with the Tech Buzz, and you notice the set has changed and everything has kind of geared more toward the outdoors. And for the longest time I was doing the outdoors. I would take time off my normal tech and broadcast shows, and I would go out, and a lot of people were like, hey, you should really incorporate it. And I was just like, So on the side, I was doing different reviews for different products just for my own thing, just throwing it out on YouTube. And a lot of the videos were getting like 100,000, 200,000 views. And I'm like, well, maybe there is something to this. So I created what's now known as No Boundaries Outdoors, if you haven't figured that out right now. And it's an outdoor brand where we can discuss and review and talk about everything in the outdoors with companies, and just kind of like we did with the tech, where you talk to different companies. But the main draw is the live video and also the high produced video. And that's something that I've seen in the outdoor industry has struggled with for many, many years. And everybody, we talked about mobile, right? Cell phone, everybody doing that. So it was kind of taking the two passions that I have of live video or video in general and the outdoors, and putting it together to what No Boundaries has become in the last year, almost a year and a half.
Now, you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, sir.
And outdoors is big, isn't it?
In Western PA, yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
It's really pretty, and it's just beautiful. And last time you were on, you were showing us some of the gear you had and things, and it's pretty cool. And I never knew you were interested in that stuff. I went, that's interesting. You got a whole other life going on over there.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, everybody thinks he's a geek, he's a tech guy, he never does anything. But you do some really cool stuff.
Well, and it's good because
always known about his archery and his outdoor stuff. Always used to hear about your archery and that, and you're quite keen on that. So that's a lot of that involved, isn't it?
It is, and what's great is I get to get my kids involved and my wife involved. So it's something that we can do as a family. And in fact, yesterday my sister-in-law took some time, and we did a photo shoot for different companies that we're partnered with, that provide us like the camo that we wear and different broadheads that we shoot for hunting, and just different products that are out there. And she's really good. Like, she doesn't do this for a living, but she did a lot of really, really nice pictures, and so we've been putting them out on social media. But it's just boomed. Like, I actually have I have a team now that I do this with. It's not just all me doing everything myself. I have a great team. I've got a social media marketing manager where she handles everything for No Boundaries Outdoors. I mean, I post some stuff from time to time, but she handles that. We have like a pro team, and we have what we call an outdoor team, where they're basically guys that wanted to be part of the team, and they get some discounts on different products and partner that we have. But they're like our cheerleaders. They have their group that they go out and they can talk to tell about No Boundaries and get other people excited and kind of share our vision of what we're doing. And I've got a couple. We actually have a board. I know, unbelievable, right? But we actually, we're making strides in the direction of full-fledged business.
Well, have you thought about going on regular TV or cable with the show? Because there's a lot of shows on, like, remember the old American Sportsman and that kind of stuff, where they're popular. Those things are really popular.
They are, but I think you guys would agree that I think the day of digital television is kind of slowly coming to an end.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to the internet for their content. I mean, you hear every day people are cutting the cable. I don't know if necessarily that's a good move for us to. I mean, it'd be great if somebody said, "Hey, do you want to go on TV?" But right now, I've got the free internet market.
Yeah.
I can go on Roku. I can go on Apple TV. I can go on Fire TV.
Yep.
I can do. Right now, we're live on YouTube.
That's true.
And on my channels and everything. So, I don't know, Rick. I think we have a larger reach right now, and it's not costing us $100,000.
That's true. That's true. In fact, we're one of the people who cut
TV.
the box. No more cable. We're using an Apple TV that connects us to Hulu and everything else we want, and it looks. We bought a nice big screen TV, and life is good. We don't need cable anymore.
When you look at all these programs like yours and ours on the internet, the quality that you get on the TV is just so good. And the great thing with the internet, ventures like yours would maybe never see the light of day because people want to see a success before they'll give you any money to do it. With you being able to put it up there straight away and get hundreds of thousands of people to see it, then you'll get some funds. And as I said, why would you need the networks? Because then you're constrained to what they tell you to do for all that money they've given you. And I think you get better genuine content off the internet because you see what people are actually doing, not what the networks want you to see. That's what I want.
It's kind of funny. With several 100,000 views per show, let's say, you've got more views than most cable news and most real news. That tells you something.
Well, and here's something else, and I'm not trying to do any kind of solicitations or anything like that, but I want to show you guys something because we obviously got to do some show and tell here.
Yeah.
This is what I use right now to go out onto the web anywhere from the woods. I go out from trade shows. This is what I use: a Canon HFG40,
Yep.
a Rode mic. I also have the Rode interview mic, and a LiveU Solo. If you guys aren't familiar with this, this is a tech show, so I can talk about this, right? So the LiveU Solo with the two bonded connections, AT&T and Verizon. Anybody that's watched our live coverage at the ATA show here back in January, we reached over 100,000 people.
Wow.
With that. And it was incredible. We didn't have any drops. We didn't have anything of the sort. And that's all a testament to the mobile streaming of where everything's going. Because
that's amazing.
I remember when I used to use this thing, and it was a backpack, Rick, when I was at CES in 2011, and you're carrying around an 80 to 90 pound computer on your back, and LiveU is taking it to an affordable price. But I think might be like under $1,000 or something like that.
Yep.
And you can use this, right? And this is something that they've jumped on with me because I did an hour stream in the middle of the woods with a buddy of mine, one of my partners. Yeah. No problems.
Yeah, great.
We're in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, and I remember about 5-6 years ago, I had one of those VDUs by Teradek. It barely worked. Anywhere we took it, the buildings would get in the way. It just didn't work. It was a piece of crap. But it was an interesting promise of what was to come. And and you're right, even with your phone, if you have it tethered, you can go out almost anywhere and get a pretty good connection. And the same idea. So it's amazing. But you're right. So now you have a whole studio with you with what, 3-4 components?
That's it. I mean, we went around the whole ATA show, which was in Indianapolis, and we walked booth to booth, kind of like what we did with CES and NAB. Yeah. And every person we went up to, every company we went up to, we were like, should we go live now or? And I'm like, well, we're live right now. We're walking around live. This is live. I mean, we're shooting live. It was one of those things where we're like, okay, so they were expecting us to go live from a phone.
Oh, how funny!
And I'm
That's
like,
right.
no, we've got a camera. But my wife, who also does marketing, goes booth to booth, and she's telling them, she's stating to them like, "Oh, we're going to bring a camera crew over, and they're waiting for us to pull up the phone." I'm like, "No, we're live right now." The Rode interview mic is phenomenal.
It's wonderful, isn't it? We've got 2 of those.
Fantastic.
Nobody can believe you can have it by your chest, and 2 people can be heard beautifully.
We actually want to get 2 of them.
Yeah.
We used a Heil. What's the Heil handheld? What is it?
I know which one you're talking.
Something HF20 or something like that. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But we use that because it's a good mic. I used it at CES. Yeah. It's just that it doesn't even hold a candle to this mic. No.
And for $129 or whatever it is, it's an amazing mic.
Can't beat it. So honestly, if anybody out there wants to know, I think LiveU did a blog post about it, of my whole setup that you could go out there. And you could do it for under $2,000. You can have a mobile portable studio.
What are you connecting
in the woods?
What are you connecting the mic to? Direct to camera?
Wireless Sennheiser.
Oh, okay. Into
box.
the camera.
Yeah, so this is basically my setup right here with the mic. I've got the mic flag on it, and then I've got the Sennheiser. I don't know if that ran me like $700 or something for the whole setup. But I'll tell you what, we didn't have one interference problem the whole time with the microphone. We didn't have one interference problem with the LiveU. I mean, it was fantastic.
And people who haven't transmitted from trade shows, there's a lot of interference in trade shows, and yet these devices get through all the metal, everything, without much of an issue.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the innovation comes from, because I've seen guys going out, taking their cell phone, doing turkey hunts and deer hunting and even fishing. When I get out in the boat this summer, I'm taking the LiveU, where we're going to do a live fishing expedition, if you will, right from my boat while we're out in the lake. So you're not seeing all this editing. I mean, how many times you watch it on TV and you go, how long were they fishing before they were pulling that big fish? You know what I'm saying? Or the deer. I want to actually do that this year. I self-film my hunts. So what's the extra taking this box in and showing an audience an environment that you may not have ever even gone out in, sitting in the middle of the woods, 20 feet in the air, waiting for a deer or bear or whatever you're hunting coming out. This is uncharted territory, and I think that's what excites me the most. Is I've gotten into a niche where I'm really good with video. And I may not know everything about the outdoors. In fact, I know I don't know everything about the outdoors. There's people that'll make my head spin. But I'm willing to learn, and I can take video and put it out there and show these companies in the outdoor industry how they could have phenomenal.
Well, isn't it amazing how you got that union of tech and old tech, new tech and old tech? I mean, you're talking the hunting, the different devices, the weapons used, whatever. And now you've got high tech transmitting that anywhere with no effort. It's amazing.
It's unreal.
It's pretty cool.
So that's the cool part, And guys like Jeff, he can sit there in Australia and watch it and, not have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's something I like with all the LiveU bits and pieces that people do film is I want to see, I don't want to see edited things. I can see that on everywhere. They just show you the good bits. It's because I can't get there, and you liked it. And if you're interested in something like you said, you're going hunting, if you want to do that and you can't do that yourself, I want to see the whole hour or something that you're walking in all the different things you do. And then, it's just being there with something that you just can't get to. Same as trade shows. People can't just pay money and go to all these trade shows. But if somebody like yourself is going to every booth and you see the things that are happening, you hear what's going on, you hear the buzz of the people walking past you, you get that environment, you just know what it's like rather than just being told how good it is. So it's great.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that, we have a hashtag that we use. It's one real hunt at a time. And because we sat together as a team and we said, and we're not accusing anybody in the industry of this, so I want to stress that. But we all know that there's times and there's people that they hunt in fenced in areas, and we're not believers of that. We're believers of free range, and what that means is there's no fences around the property keeping the animals in there.
Right.
And so we want to show how hard it is. People think you watch a half-hour TV program of guys going up there and kill 2 or 3 deer from it might have been 3 or 4 hunts that they went on that took hours, 8 or 10 hour sits every day, and we want to kind of put it out there that's real, if you will. And show people like, no, this is really how it is. If this is something that you want to get into, you want to get involved in. Fishing too. Fishing, you have your days where you're pulling in a fish every 2 minutes, and then there's days, my son will tell you, we sit there for 5 hours and not get anything.
And you make a good point too, because I've seen the ones where you have enclosed hunts, and it's kind of a joke. That's my opinion. It's my opinion, but you know what? It doesn't take any effort, any strength, any courage, or whatever to go out and shoot a deer at 300 yards where the deer can't even move anywhere, and that's what they do. And then they go around putting their feet on it, going, "Hey, I'm a big hunter." You haven't done anything.
Right.
Yeah, I love the bow and arrow guys, because I think you do that too, because that really takes some guts. You're not that far from an animal unless you've got a crossbow, but a lot of guys use the real long bows, and it's pretty amazing. And
that's exactly what we do. We get them in. I won't shoot anything. I try not to shoot anything over 40 yards.
Okay.
And most of the deer that I've gotten have been like 10 to 15 yards. So you literally, they can't smell you, they can't see you. You have to make sure you're still. And with a bow, I mean, you're pulling it back. So that's what really got me, was the challenge behind that. I mean, I like firearms, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about it that gets your blood pumping when you're able to harvest a deer with a bow.
I'll never forget. This is when I was a kid. I mean, I was probably like 10 or 12 years old at the time. Star Trek was on, the original Star Trek with William Shatner, and he was on, I think it was American Sportsman, and he was a bow and arrow hunter. And he got in and he hunted a bear, and he's literally like 10 feet from this bear. The bear got up and he shot it. And everybody and he said, this gets your adrenaline. It was exactly what he goes, this gets your adrenaline going. He goes, and it's not something that's that easy, not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Because you've got to be steady, you've got to control the adrenaline, you've got to control your emotions, and just do it, because otherwise, a bear at 20, 30 feet can still kill you. And then pretty quickly. When you said 40 yards, people go, "Oh, that's pretty far." Not really. If you see how fast animals can move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to be skilled that you're going to ethically harvest that animal. You don't want to wound them. I mean, nobody wants to go out there and wound. I mean, no. The ultimate is a clean kill. That's the ultimate desire. Yeah. Accidents happen, things happen, but that's why you practice, and that's what we do. And I think that's where I think a lot of people are now incorporating this mobile technology that you can do with phones. Not everybody has the technical skill to go out and get a LiveU, but even though LiveU does make it really simple, because we were talking about this at ATA and saying, like, is the media, are these companies, are these people going to catch on to this, that it is that simple? Yeah. There's applications out there like Wirecast, vMix, that you can do these types of things. Yep. LiveU really makes it simple with a web. I mean, we set it all up, Rick, no lie, our posts right from the iPhone. My cameraman was with us when we were out at CES and NAB in Vegas back in 2011 and 2012, I want to say. Yeah. And he remembers the challenge that we had to go through just to get LiveU connected. Mm-hmm. And now you can access the web interface portal from your phone and go live. I mean,
well, I'll tell you, you know what Jeff did the other day? The other day I called Jeff. Okay, Los Angeles to Melbourne is about 7,800 miles. I called him on Facebook Messenger. He answers with video from his car. He's in a Mitsubishi Montero driving, and I'm going, holy crap. It's perfect, and it looked really good. I could see the neighborhoods, I could see the trees, everything was clear. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm just on my phone." And he was, and I was and we could have easily transmitted that, because he also has some, you could do it from his phone or whatever. He's got an iPhone, I think 9 or 10. I'm not sure. I don't remember which one you have, but it looked so clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. And so, I was talking with a young guy this week. And I think he might even be watching right now, but I was talking with him about, he's a really young guy. He's going to be 18 soon, and he's doing like his own outdoor TV, and that's his passion. That's what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And so I've kind of been, I kind of reached out to him, and I, explained to him how I was doing video and everything. And, you guys have seen me back when doing the Tech Buzz for the last 10, 11 years, seen the pains that I've gone through. A lot of other people that watch and follow have seen the pains, and now I get it all tied together. And when I do a show, it's like I don't even have to think about it. Like even turning all this gear on, I was laughing with Brad. I'm like, yeah, everything works after you clear the dust off.
Yeah.
I said, everything just seems. I was
That's
joking,
so funny.
because I do use it every day, even though I'm not live.
When I can take you
For-
back
for
in
what?
time, when we first started getting into broadcasting, we had an idea. We said, we want to do something live. We have no idea how to do it. And I started doing some searching. This is about 9.5 years ago, maybe 10 already. It's getting, and here's this. You look like about 15 in those days. I mean, you were, and
Thanks, I
you were the
appreciate that.
first guy I came across, and I spent hours watching you and learning because you would give lots of tutorials how to do this. I bought Wirecast. It was like Wirecast 3 in those days, or 2. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was 2.
And learned a ton. And it's funny because I see you doing it all over again. Now you're doing it in a different industry. You're still teaching. You're doing it online, but with different gear. I think it's cool.
And the cool part is, right, so I still have my connections with the broadcast industry.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to them, I'm like, you guys have an untouched market right here.
Yeah.
I sound like a marketing guru, really. You have an untouched market here. You have the outdoor industry. There's a lot of up and coming young people like Blake Alma, the Outdoor Experience. He, like I said, he catches it. He understands what I'm doing. He understands the goal that I'm trying to get to, and he's trying to do something similar. And I'm like, to these companies, you don't understand the potential that you have. I mean, there's already outdoor TV. Now let's go with these amateurs that are out there that aren't paying $100,000 a quarter to get on outdoor TV, and they want to do it themselves, and they want to learn how to do it. And I'm showing them, like you said, I'm showing. It's like all over again. But I think it's necessary. I think if people would stop. I'm going to say that I hope it doesn't come off bad, but if people would stop trying to copy everybody in the same industry, and find the niche of the passion, like they can take video and tech, and do it in, like, let's say a lawyer. Maybe they've got a passion about being with law enforcement or anything like that. You would be more successful than everybody sitting there and doing the same thing. Does that make sense? And I'm not trying to come down on people. I'm just
no. And I think in the beginning, when everybody's getting into it, they tend to copy because that's how you learn.
Yeah, I did it. I'll be the first to admit it. I did it.
Yeah, we all did. And like I said, we learned a ton from you, just watching you when you were a whole lot younger back then, right? And it was fun. It's like, wow, he's doing it. We could do this, and it just became exciting. When I first met you, I said, you're the guy who first taught me all about podcasting, and we've thanked him many times, but it's true. Yep. And the nice thing about this industry, and I'll say this, some industries people don't share, but in this one, for some odd reason, everybody shares, and it's so much fun to get people. Now you still reach people when we invite people as guests. I get this from people. Yeah, what's the reach? It's the reach. And you just go, you know what? Our reach is about what yours was a year ago when you were nobody.
Exactly.
And they all forget. It's like, what's the reach? And how important are you? It's like, you know what? It's how important are you? You may be gone tomorrow. And they're like, oh. But it's funny. They get arrogant real quickly. People say, I've got 50,000 views. So, and they're just like, I'm hot. Yeah, you're hot today, but you could be gone tomorrow, just like any one of us.
Here's a prime example with that, Rick. I mean, I was pretty well known in the tech and broadcast industry. I mean, anybody that reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to come on my show? I went on your show, unless it was like something I couldn't do because of conflicting times. I did. I never asked what's your reach or anything like that. I never did. When I got into the outdoor industry a year and a half ago, nobody knew me. No Boundaries Outdoors, just one day, it was just there. And I have to say, everybody in the outdoor community has been really accepting and really supportive, unlike what I've seen in the tech and broadcast industry. Right. And there was a company with Scent Crusher, Dan Drake over there. He first saw what we were doing with the live video and the interviewing, being able to switch cameras and bring in desktops and all this cool stuff. He saw it, and he says, like, I want to get on board with you guys. I want to partner. What's it going to take? What do we got to do? Yeah. He didn't ask me what my reach was. Right. He saw the potential, and that's a smart businessman right there. Mm-hmm. And then soon others followed, and others saw the potential. And like, I didn't have a reach at the beginning. I didn't have the numbers that we're getting now. Yeah. And we're still growing it. But I would, even to this day, if somebody in the outdoor industry said, "Hey, do you want to come on my podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah. When do you want to do it?" I don't consider myself any celebrity
Well, no, you've always
in
been,
that atmosphere.
No, and you've always been real, and that's the key. I think if you're real with people, one, they'll appreciate you for that, and two, they're going to know you're not BSing or arrogant or your ego's gotten way bigger than your house and everything else. But a lot of guys, they see themselves and they keep watching their own show 40 times. It's like, what, do you like it that much? I love myself.
Their stats are going up. That's all they care about.
That's right. I got 40 shows. I got 40 views yesterday. Who'd you watch? I don't know. I just watched it 40 times. And it's funny because those are the guys who give you the, what's the reach? It's like, what's the reach? Oh, my God.
I would reach. Honestly, I would. Maybe this is wrong. Again, just trying to be real. I would probably retract my invitation if that was
we usually
the case.
do. Yeah, we usually do. It's like if that's how it's going to start, it's not worth inviting anymore. It's like, I mean, what's the reason? Not even. We had one. He's actually pretty well known. He may actually be in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure. He's a guy who does photo reviews, and he's sort of interesting. But
probably why I don't know him.
Yeah, you might know him.
Maybe I do.
Yeah, he's got like a big fro.
You'll give it away, Brick. Don't go.
Am I giving it away with that one? But
yeah, don't get yourself in trouble. Don't make any enemies.
No, I know. But it is sort of funny. There was no response. The only
Jeff
response,
likes his house. He doesn't want to get it bombed.
No, the only response to the very nice note from the gal who sent it was, "What's the reach?" Not "Hi, how are you? Hey, nice to talk to you." No, "What's the reach?" I don't think we ever responded. It was like, forget it.
We've had companies and CEOs come on the No Boundaries Outdoors show that we did, and they never once said, "Oh, what's the reach?" You know what they said? They're looking at it going, "Hey, this is free marketing."
That's true.
It doesn't matter if he reaches 20 people. That's 20 people that we haven't reached before.
Yeah, but those 20 may reach another 100 or 200 or 500.
That's it. You don't know who those 20 people are, and that's what I always say. Everybody when they start getting in this video, like, "Oh, yeah, but I'm only going to have 20 people live if I go live from Facebook."
Yeah.
You don't know who those 20 people are.
That's right. You don't.
You don't. Unless they comment.
Yeah. And it could be that one who just says, "Hey, I got 1 million viewers and they just all saw this."
That's exactly it. So, I've been kind of getting help from other people with like I said, I don't know everything. I've only been hunting for 5 years. I've been fishing my whole life, but I've only been hunting and bow hunting for 5 years. So I still ask questions. I still talk to people. But one of the things that I'm and I think this is go big or go home. That's kind of my motto. Yeah. That's what I do. Video is always, everybody's like, why did you do that with your studio? I mean, you don't need to do that. And it's like, no, but my studio runs like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing with hunting. I buy myself a backup bow. I mean, I'm just, it's just one of those things where I don't want to be hindered by my equipment.
No.
But I also want to be able to show people that you can take an average guy, a guy that's never done this before in 5 years. I've talked to people, they haven't killed a deer. They haven't hit in 10 years, the first 10 years. And I did it in 3 years. So not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that like I worked hard just like this, learning the broadcasting side of things. And so one of the things that I've learned with the outdoor industry is like I give advice on video and they turn around and give me advice on, I seen you were looking at this product. I would kind of steer away from that. I've used it and you don't want to get associated with that. Just kind of, and I'm like, oh, thanks for telling me. That's awesome. So
you're right though.
Go further.
And this is something anybody can take as a good rule for living. If you're going to do something, do it right.
That's right.
Do even if it takes hard work, learning, it usually does. If you want to get good at anything, I don't know if you ever knew this, but I teach martial arts on the side. And I've been doing martial arts.
Don't mess with him. Yeah. You guys see, don't mess with him. So he can call whoever out he wants. Don't mess with him.
But no, I've been doing it since I was 10 years old. I'm 64 now, so it's been a while. And people always say, "How do you do that?" Or "What have you done?" Or "I've done demonstrations." They go, "How the heck did you do that?" I go, "That looked hard." I go, "No, it's only hard if you don't practice it. If you do it over and over and over again, it's easy." Like you said, when you get into a studio and you're just going flick, 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 everything's on, and it's on, and you don't have to think about it anymore. At first, when you're doing it, like, let's see, I got to do this button and that button, and let me adjust this. After a while, you just do it. In fact, Harold, who's running the show right now, he started with us a little under a year ago, and I said, "You want to learn how to do this?" "Sure." And now he's doing most of it by himself, and you know, in the beginning he was nervous. I could tell he was like watching everything. And yeah, wouldn't you say you're pretty calm now?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if you can hear him.
Yeah, I think I've definitely gotten better at this just by keeping at it.
It's just practice. Anything you want to do in life, you want to get good at it, you practice. Jeff on the other side, he's got like, I don't know, $500,000 worth of audio equipment or something. He's got some beautiful audio equipment, Yamaha
he could
pianos.
teach me a thing.
And the other day I call him up and he's sitting at home and he's just playing music, and it was the coolest thing. I'm doing Name That Tune, you know, trying to figure out what he's playing in a couple of notes. And he's cranking out music and it sounds awesome. He's got all the parts of an orchestra. And it's like, wow, that is really cool. And he goes, it's fun. He practices every night. Yeah.
But that's the thing with all this, with the broadcasting and everything. A lot of people are reluctant to do it. Think, oh, I might look silly. I might look that. And I must admit, I thought that in the early days, and then it just came to me. I thought, well, no matter how silly or whatever I look, that's how people see me every day. So I stand up and talk to people. So if I do, well, that's just how I am. So if I don't want to do that, I should keep myself shut in a room and just not say a word, because I am me. And as I said, you just got to get over that a little bit. And once you do, you say, well, somebody's out there that wants to listen to what you want. And like we said with these people who've got these, you know, what's the reach?
Yeah.
I'm still amazed at these people who have millions of views, and I still have no idea who they are. They just turn up. And it's only because you've searched for a particular thing. Like if you're looking for hunting, well, if I don't type in looking for hunting, I'm never going to see anything that maybe Stephen's doing now. But that's the thing. All I have to do is do one key thing, like it was saying, you know, forest walk or something that you might have a tag in, and then I might get hooked. And so now I am one of those people looking at it, but I might not have been involved in hunting. So that's where sometimes just tagging the videos and that can be really, you know, powerful on that, to get people to just just see it a little bit. I know I've been caught on things that I never would have been interested in a pink fit, but I've been sat there riveted at just seeing some of these live views. So now, Stephen, just with that, your new company and that, do you have a new YouTube channel? Because that's what I've been caught up. I've been watching your old one. So is it on a new one you've got?
Yeah, I actually do. It is youtube.com/noboundariesoutdoors. And I know I'm throwing that up there. I don't know if you switched over. I hope I didn't mess them up. But
no, we're good.
We have where I go through some of the trade shows that we went to. You can see some of the edited videos, but you can also, in reruns on the channel, like you can see it says live now. When I play the rotation, you can see what was live at the time, and and see all the shows that we've done in the live coverage area, or any interviews that I've done. So it's pretty cool with that.
Now, Stephen, you know what I did to Jeff? He was out in the L.A. area one time, came over to our offices, and we were talking. I said, oh, you know what? We have a show coming up in about 15 minutes. And he goes, oh, what are you going to talk about? Not me, you. And I pushed him into the studio. And literally, he had to do a show. And Clark, who's big, he's 6'5", just kind of held him there. No, you have to sit down and do a show.
And that was the first show I'd ever done. I'd never done it before. And Rick just threw me in there and he said, well, you got 5 minutes to prepare.
Yeah.
And so I did.
And he did great. He did absolutely wonderfully. And we had a great co-host, and she was really good with him. And afterwards she goes, oh, Jeff was great. He can co-host anytime. And, but I knew if I had told him ahead of time, he would have freaked. And no, I don't want to do that.
Oh, of course.
But just threw him in. Here, go on in. What? Me? What? No.
That's that's the best way to do it. And I did that. When we were live on location at the ATA show. Actually, I shouldn't say that. A couple weeks prior to that, we call him the Barbarian. He's a good friend of mine, Drew Schaefer, and he's also part of the team. He's never done this. He always says, I'm not good on camera. I'll tell you what, he got on camera and he just went. And I think what you said right there, Rick, about Jeff is key. If you have somebody that you can play off of or go with, it makes it a lot easier to host or even co-host a show. If you,
it's fun.
If you guys were asking me questions and I was just going, yep,
yeah.
Jeff would be sweating bullets. He's like, what am I going to talk to this? I know nothing about what am I going to do here? Like, what, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Well, you were doing shows with Marty McPadden for a while. And Marty's a great guy. We interviewed Marty, 6-7 years ago maybe. He and his wife, we interviewed him back when on a show we had called Shrek Tech. And she goes, here's the guy Marty.
I've seen that interview. He showed it to me. In fact, he's watching right now. He's we have a Discord chat that we use. I switched from IRC.
Yeah.
So he's watching right now along with Brad. So I got to give him
great.
a shout out
Marty.
for watching.
Marty was great. He's the nicest guy, and he was just great on the show. That was Gina Shrek. She was the host of the show, and I was her co-host, and we had a great time. And Marty was a real natural. Get him on camera. He's got a great voice, and it was fun.
Sorry, Rick. I've just got to get going soon. There's somebody banging at my door. So
okay.
I've got to get going in a minute. So.
Well, we're going to be wrapping up in about a second anyway, but. Hey, Stephen, come back on again anytime. We'd love to have you on. You're a great guy, a good friend, and man, we wish you the best on everything you're doing. It sounds like you're well on your way.
I appreciate that. I just want to say one other thing. We were talking about Marty, and I'll tell you what. One of the things that Marty taught me with this was you need to surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up and not tear you down. And they're the people that are going to be your core supporters. And one of the things that he also said is keep your eyes on the prize. Don't worry about what the guy next to you is doing. It's all right. You want to sit there and watch, but don't let that be your Achilles heel, so to speak. And he was always there. Like, even when I was doing this and I started No Boundaries Outdoors and I was telling him what I was going to be doing, and he's like, man, go for it. You know, you love it. It's a no-brainer. And then to see it grow, you know, he's just like, I'm stoked. He says, I sit there and I watch it. And so I think when you have a support system, and even though I don't always get to talk to him as much as I do now, or as I did then, I think people like that who see the whole picture, right? Yeah. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. You've got Jeff, and I think that people out there that want to do this, if you got naysayers in your life that are trying to do this, get rid of them. They're not going to help you grow. They're going to just be the Achilles heel, if you will. And you're going to be able to do anything when you got that support.
Yeah, it's true. And hey, we're behind you. If you need anything, let us know. And
appreciate that.
And
it's great to catch up again.
It is. Big hug to you, and hi to Marty if you're out there. It's been a while. We should get him back on the show too. We've never had him on this show, so it'd be fun to have him on. He's just a great guy. And for all you guys watching, we will see you soon. We'll have all of Steven's information on the show notes below, so please take a look at what he's doing. And he does a great job. Trust us. We've known him for years.
Thank you,
Steven. Hey, have a good one, Steven. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you soon again.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thanks.